Hello collectors, it's Steven here bringing you a review of the Vulcanlog Dark Magician. His first action figure just in time for the 20th anniversary and the new Dark Side of Dimensions movie. Many collectors are looking to pick this action figure up to begin their collection or to grow their own. But does this figure live up to its current status in the TCG thanks to the Dark Illusion, or is he as vanilla as a normal monster back in the day? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. For those of you out of the loop, this Dark Magician design isn't based on any of the classic cards, such as the one from Starter Deck Yu-Gi, but rather a redesigned promotional artwork first featured on a Shonen Jump promo card, and then as a promo for the Dark Side of Dimensions and the movie. This redesign brings him closer to the title of Black Magician, and though some may say he's edgy and so forth, this sleek design transitions well into action figure format. His face is rather close to the design, but it's a little goofy, very apathetic instead of stern, though the paint and decals look rather fine. Moving on from there, his robe looks nice overall, with the armor parts being a glossy bluish gray with dark gray for the, say, fabric of the robe. The silver accents are pretty clean, though in a few spots it looks a teeny bit splotchy. Overall, though, he looks pretty great. Filled with Revoltech joints, Dark Magician is engineered wonderfully, and you're going to be able to put him in tons of different poses. Let's get down to it. We have the head which attaches to the neck on a Revoltech joint, so this way you can swivel the head around, which is cool. Get it to bob around a little bit on its own. And then we have the neck which attaches into the body on another Revoltech joint, so this way you can bob his head forward and back like that, and a little bit more twisting and turning. But what's really cool is this whole assembly attaches into the body on another Revoltech joint, so this way you can get Dark Magician to look like he's lunging forward like that, and you can pull his neck all the way back like that. Really, really cool here. It's kind of creepy because that doesn't really look all that natural, but when you have him in an action-y pose, it's just fine. The shoulder pads are also on Revoltech joints, so this way you can wiggle them around a little bit. Not too much, but hey, there is some movement there. For the shoulders, we actually have a double Revoltech joint system going on because they plug into the body on a Revoltech joint, and then there's a double joint here, as you can see, and we get some really cool movement out of here. So you can move his arm all the way back like that, raise it all the way up, down, and we get a bicep swivel there. It's awesome. The elbows also feature a Revoltech joint, so you can swivel them around, and they get hinge movement. And then the wrists are Revoltech joints as well, and the hands plug in on a peg. So you're going to be able to spin them around just a little bit, though unfortunately range isn't too great because of these giant gauntlets, but don't worry, we have alternate hand parts which rectify that. When we move down into the body, we actually only have one joint here instead of both an ab crunch and a waist joint. This portion of the Dark Magician's abdomen is actually just a sculpt sleeve. Inside is one large Revoltech joint, and as you can hear clicking, he can bend forward and he can bend backward on that joint. So it's pretty cool. Twist and turn from side to side. Moving down to the hips, we do have the Revoltech joint. Again, everything here is a Revoltech joint. You can hear it clicking. You can spin his legs around. Great range of movement, though unfortunately his robe, that's what we'll call it here, does block backward movement, which is a bit sad, but thankfully we do have the Revoltech joints at the knees, which allow for hinge movement like that, and that is a fantastic range of movement. We also get swivels down here at the knee, which is great. Then at the ankles, again, Revoltech joint, but unfortunately, it's not sculpted too well with articulation in mind, so we don't get too much movement moving forward and backward. However, when we do take the ankle rocker into consideration, wow, he can really do the splits. Now for his robe, at the front we have one Revoltech joint up here by his peepee, where you can sort of twist and turn it around, like so. And then we have another break point down here to give it some articulation to make it look action-y, like it's flowing. On the back, we only have one Revoltech joint, and it really doesn't do too much aside from get out of the way of the lower portion of Dark Magician's legs when you're posing him. So all in all, this is a really cool action figure, and I gotta say, I love it. For accessories, Dark Magician pretty much gets the absolute bare minimum, though what we get, you're able to pull off some creative poses with. So first off, as you can see, Dark Magician does come with a support stand, and the way that we use it is actually pretty interesting. So you get the support arm that plugs into the base, and then on the back of Dark Magician, we have these two holes on the back flap of his robe, and what you do is you insert the top peg of the support arm into one of those holes, and then we're able to support Dark Magician. Alternatively, if you want, we get one support claw that can wrap around Dark Magician's waist, but you don't really need that. This is just fine on its own. Dark Magician comes with two other faceplates, one where he's looking off to the left and the other where he's looking off to the right. And as you can see here, once I move my big old sausage fingers out of the way, they're pretty, say, average, and they're not all that great looking, just pretty normal. Swapping out the faceplates, it can be easy to do, though there's a quality control issue on mine. And unfortunately, that quality control issue almost caused me to damage my figure, but thankfully I know what I'm doing, and I was able to get around that. So how to swap out the faces, this is where the issue was. You have to pull Dark Magician's hair out. And as you might be able to see here, hopefully it'll show up on camera well enough. Yeah, it slides down just like that. As you can see, the paint dried inside that hole where this plugs in, and it was a bitch to pull out. So to swap out the faces, all you have to do is grab the currently attached one, slide it out from behind the hair, line up the peg on the new face with the hole in the hair, just like so, and then slide the hole for the hair back up into the hat of Dark Magician, and there you go. Expression's changed. Dark Magician also comes with some optional hand parts. He comes with left and right splayed hand parts, and he also comes with left and right staff holding parts. Now, to swap out the hand parts, all you have to do is grab the currently attached hand, pop it off, and then pop the new hand onto the wrist peg. Now be careful, because the left and right staff holding parts are actually at an angle, so the hole is at an angle too, so you don't want to force it and break it. Now, with the staff holding hand parts, we get Dark Magician's staff, and I'll go ahead and show you the whole thing. Now at the top here, we get this nice emerald colored orb, which is really, really cool, nice and shiny. And as we move down, we see there are silver rings there. It's mostly purple. And then we get to the end here with this nice sword-like part to it. Now, to get Dark Magician to hold the staff, you're going to have to be very careful, but it's easy to do. So with the hand here, as you can see, it's perfectly sculpted to hold the staff. And unfortunately, there is no part on the staff which pops off. So to get him to hold the staff, you're going to have to force it into his hand. Yeah, those who have the Figma link, you know exactly what kind of an issue this could cause, specifically those with the first production run. But thankfully, it pops into his hand rather easily, and of course, you can slide it up and down like so. Now, the staff is made of a rather stiff plastic. It does have some bend to it, but don't go forcing it in. If you're having some trouble getting Dark Magician to hold the staff, you can heat up the hand with either a blow dryer or hot water to make it more flexible, so this way you can get the staff in with no problems. Now, one small teeny tiny issue, which is more so a pet peeve than an actual issue, is that every so often the staff may slide in his hand. It's because it's very easy to move up and down, as you can see here. Okay, I'll stop with that joke. And on occasion, you may come back to Dark Magician holding the staff in a different place. So if that happens, just move it back to where it was. So like I said, overall we get the bare minimum with Dark Magician here in terms of accessories, but once you factor in the articulation, you can definitely come up with a lot of poses. So even though we don't have too many accessories, I think it'll be a while before you get bored of Dark Magician. And here's a size comparison showing how big he is. He's definitely a tall figure, but considering he'll probably be scrunched up in poses, he'll fit fine on your shelf. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Dark Magician looks nice. The articulation, once you get used to it, is wonderful, and I cannot stop fiddling with it. Accessories are the bare minimum, but are effective. Maybe a Dark Magic attack effect should have been included to make the package deal even better. But even then, you get an awesome action figure for the price. If you're hesitant on this one, I totally suggest picking this one up sooner rather than later. Despite some flaws, I'd say this is contender for Figure of the Year, at least in my book. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like the video and subscribe. What do you think of the figure? Drop a comment down below and let me know. Interested in picking this one up? Check the description for some really cool links to take you where you need to go. Want to watch some more videos? I picked a few just for you, so click the annotations on your screen right now for more great content. Until next time, collectors!